Hello, kia ora. Can everyone hear me? Is this good? Rick is very tall, so this was a good tip to put it down. Oh, great. That's not my slides.
Do it anyway.
Oh, I'm talented, but I'm not that talented. Cool, okay.
We're almost there.
You good?
It's yeah, that's it. That's the one.
Good, okay, that looks right. Yes, hello, thank you for coming to my talk. This is actually like the first talk I've done in public to an audience, so thank you for bearing with me. But I'm sure that you'll be completely riveted to hear about what I'll have to say because you're all here. I'll assume that. Cool, so yeah, I'm here to talk to you today about why your game quality almost doesn't matter. Yeah. So now that you've been rage baited to come to my talk, let's unpack this outrageous statement a little bit. What do I mean when I say this? So, making games is really hard. This is you in the game dev minds. I'm sure lots of us feel like this some of the time. It's difficult, and so you have to be quite passionate and dedicated to the craft of it in order to be attracted to doing it at all and making any sort of a living or commercial return out of it. But this sort of passion for the craft, this will to make something great, sometimes it leads people to think that that's the only thing required for commercial success. This is something I hear quite often, the sentiment around, if I just make a really good game, it will make money. When I say good, I mean in terms of polish, beautiful art, great sound design, that sort of measure of good. So, this statement feels correct, but it's not the whole story. Obviously, game quality does have some hand in how things turn out commercially, but there's a bit more to the story about what makes money and why, and that's what I'll be talking about today. So, I'll show you a couple of examples of what I'm talking about. This is a game called Saturnalia. It was described as a horrible nightmare in all the right ways. It was quite critically acclaimed, got awards. It was in development for 7 years. Critics loved it, but it only sold about 2,000 units in the first few months. This was not a successful game, according to the developer. So, now I'm going to tell you about Piggy Go, Clash of Coin. This game is I hesitate to use the word rip-off, but it very closely copies another very commercially successful game called Coin Master. You may have heard of it. So yeah, this is a, I guess, social casino game. It's a mobile game. And in terms of their quality, obviously things work and people enjoy the game, but to be honest with you, that pig haunts my nightmares. Yeah, this game makes about $20,000 per day. So quite different outcomes there. I'll give you another couple of examples here. So I trawled the game dev forums on Reddit for some more examples. Sorry about the tiny, tiny little writing there, but this was someone who was talking about a game called Astronomo. They said, everything about this game looks cute, satisfying, well designed, but it has so few reviews. Even their marketing strategy looked right. I'm just not sure what went wrong. So there's an image of their store page. It does look quite cute. The art does look quite polished. I had a look at the UI design. It looked like fairly polished. But yeah, this game, I guess, also didn't really make significant commercial returns. Now I'm going to show you this game. This game is called No One Survived. It's, again, I don't want to denigrate anyone's hard work here, but it's a little rough around the edges. There's some things that still need to be ironed out about it. It's maybe not polished, as we'd say. And it got mixed reviews. It's by the most objective measure, maybe not the highest quality game. That said, this game has made $1.7 million. It's been out for the same amount of time as Astronomo. So, what's going on here? There's several things one might read into what's going on, but what I think is going on is product market fit. Now let's unpack this phrase. What is product market fit? Maybe sounds like a bit of a scary statement, but essentially it's just when your product fits a market, a real customer base, their needs, wants, and their lives. It is about deeply understanding our audience so we can bridge any gaps between what we think is good and what they think is good, understanding what's important to them. So what does product market fit feel like? There's another quote that I'll just read out, a couple of quotes. This is quite a good way that I find to describe what it doesn't feel like. In a poor market, you can make the best game in the world and you can have an absolutely killer team. And it doesn't matter, you're going to fail. You'll struggle for years trying to find players who don't exist for your marvelous product. Looks a bit like the situation here. If people want X but you end up shipping Y, things might not turn out well commercially. In a good market, so where there's demand, where there's a real customer base, the game doesn't need to be great. It just has to basically work. In short, customers are knocking down your door to get to the game. The main goal is to actually respond to all the demand. So you actually can have a little bit more of those rough edges where there's a good market. Hopefully, this is what happens when you're in a good market. Stonks happen. In the ideal scenario. Yep. So how do I get to product market fit? The following hot tips are not presented in any particular order. I find all of them useful when I'm thinking about market opportunities. Cool, so step one, or part one, think about who your market is and what they want. Game devs often start with an idea independent of who it might appeal to or what markets they're trying to target. But it's important to remember the people who are going to play that game already exist in the world. They'll have pre-existing likes, dislikes, and associations, or comparisons with other games. You can shape markets in lots of different ways. I like to just start with demographics, age and gender, player motivations, what kind of experience they might be looking for, what feelings they might want to feel when they play, and other genres and games they might also play. So the other thing is to understand some markets are just hungrier than other markets. The moment you say, we are going to make a game that is X genre with Y art style, and commit to developing that game, at that moment in the multiverse of potential outcomes, hundreds of doors instantly slam shut, and a few remain open. The choice has been made, your potential revenue largely decided. That's a great quote from one of my favourite markety thinking people, Chris Zukowski. So I'm going to break that down a little bit more with another example. This is a beautiful, complicated graph. The blue bar is number of games released in that genre. We're talking about Steam here, by the way. And the red line is median earnings for the genre. So at this end of the graph, this is the less hungry end of the graph because we've got more games and they tend to make less on average. That's a crowded market. They're not super hungry. At the other end is where we have less competition and higher median earnings. That's a hungry market. It will be theoretically easier for you to succeed if your market is hungry. Learn from the competition. Look at reviews of competitor games that your target market might also be playing. What do the players love? What are they complaining about? What could you do better? What are the requirements you just have to meet? And what do you think your game's secret sauce to differentiate you from the competition is? Steam sale, Steam review sentiment analysis tool. This is a great resource if your market is PC Steam. And then the last one, I think this is the last one, be fast, leave the polish till later. There's a reason I made this presentation ugly. Because polish only actually makes a difference if your core or secret sauce is something people want. It's sort of like a force multiplier, like Nadia was saying in her talk. Leave the polish till later, if you can, till you've figured out if the core is resonating with anyone and who those people are. You want to figure this out as soon as possible, and so that looks like doing as much playtesting as you can early on with people who fit your target market. Dropping free demos on Steam or itch.io, or soft launch beta testing if you're making a mobile game, are great ways to throw your product against the market and see what sticks early. And sort of test your own theories about what people will respond to in your game and who those people are. So now I'm going to address the skeptics that may be sitting amongst you. Other things you might be thinking about all this product market fit stuff. You might be thinking, so you're telling me I can just make a crappy game in a good market and it will automatically do well? Unfortunately, you can still fail because nothing is guaranteed in game dev. But the point of thinking about product market fit and what is selling is not about turning every creative decision over to market testing. It's more about assessing risk. You just want to know if dedicating 6 months to 2 years on a project is a good bet or a risky bet. Am I flipping a coin or playing lotto? What if my game idea does turn out to be a massive hit, even if the market looks bad? This is a plausible scenario. Sometimes people do make massive hits, even if the market opportunity doesn't look great. But what we often don't see behind those massive hits is the lots of playtesting with target customers. Lots of other pivots based on this. Other ideas that were abandoned because they had no product market fit. And then the general graveyard of other failed games. And then the last one is, well, even hearing all of this, I still just want to make my one specific game idea and see how it does. Cool. Even you can still benefit from product market fit thinking. I guess you go in with your eyes open around the likely level of commercial success that you might expect, based on how hungry that market is. B, regardless of potential market opportunity. Going through that process of thinking about target audience, studying competitors, and doing lots and lots of playtesting and demos will likely improve your game's objective quality anyway. So I will just leave you with one final quote. I hope you found some of this enlightening. So this is a quote from Graham McAllister. He's a games industry psychologist. This quote is from his Assessing the Player Experience Unity conference talk in 2015. The player doesn't care about the countless nights you slept under your desk to get that shader just right. The player cares about the experience you're going to offer them. And ultimately, if you're making games as a product to make commercial return, that game is for those people. It's not for you. And I'll just leave it there. This is some sources if you're also interested in further reading. Thank you.